Good morning. I would like to talk about whether artificial intelligence is as scary as they say. Should we be afraid of it? Some claim it's about to take all our jobs and, shortly after, take over the world. Are you scared? I'm not too much. I have some concerns, and I'll share them with you. First, let's talk about the fears and myths surrounding artificial intelligence. We'll keep it brief because delving into it thoroughly would require starting with a rich literature on this topic over the last 100 years. Some time ago, it seemed to me that the fear of artificial intelligence became comparable to the fear of war and ecological catastrophe. Global opinion leaders, also the wealthiest people on the planet, started talking about a certain threat. They suggested stopping the improvement of artificial intelligence, at least for a while, until a suitable philosophy and ethics are developed through joint efforts. They began openly warning us about machine superintelligence that could suddenly emerge and halt the development of our civilization. Well, you remember Skynet, Terminators of various modifications, and so on. There are also quite real fears, losing jobs that artificial intelligence will do better than humans. This fear deserves a separate video, and we will definitely discuss it. However, reality fades compared to the horror of the emergence of superintelligence taking over the Earth. Is there any basis for this horror? Usually, where there's smoke, there's fire. Superintelligence is, first of all, intelligent. First, let's figure out if robots are intelligent and if they can become intelligent. A small disclaimer, I refer to neural networks as robots, not bots. In my view, the term bot is demeaned and debased by primitive scripts, confusing us in tech support and social media. We're accustomed to calling robots machines made of metal and plastic trained to do physical work. However, any model of a neural network is a computer program, and the most accurate term for it is a software robot. I simply omit the word software for simplicity. So, are modern robots intelligent? In June 2022, Google engineer Blake Lemoine claimed that the Lambda neural network has consciousness and feelings. The Lambda neural network is the most complex among its counterparts, and it would be logical if consciousness first awakened in it. Neural networks are currently identified with artificial intelligence, and almost all myths and legends are attributed to them. Our brain is also a neural network, only much more complex and incomprehensible. To support his words, Blake Lemoine published an interview with the neural network that he and his unnamed colleague conducted in several sessions. They edited some of their questions, as they say, for simplicity of understanding. Blake swears that they did not edit the answers of the neural network. For those interested in the primary source, there's a link to the interview with artificial intelligence in the description of this video. Well, if you really want to believe in the intelligence of this robot, in the interview, you can see the presence of self-awareness, self-identification, awareness of the surrounding world and its place in it, emotions, and empathy. In other words, almost everything I mentioned in the previous video has human distinctions and advantages. Of course, it should be impressive. Personally, the interview with the program did not impress me. Since this type of neural network is trained on various texts, it seemed to me that Lambda rereads science fiction that anthropomorphizes machines. I saw literally the concepts and descriptions that I read in childhood in my favorite books, and my childhood was a long time ago. However, as they say, we are on the verge of neural networks gaining consciousness. This opinion is based on their high complexity and, as a result, unpredictability. Can we agree with this? The thing is that neural network robots have become too complex, and we have stopped understanding how they work. We precisely know how their program is written, what algorithms are embedded in it, how these algorithms use data, and how they are interconnected. It's indeed very complex, involving advanced mathematics, numerous algorithms, various feedback loops, and much more. All of this we know precisely. What we don't know is how the neural network adjusted itself using these algorithms. We embedded millions of logical cells and hundreds of millions of parameters into the program that the robot can and should change as it learns and operates. These parameters are dynamic, constantly changing because the neural network is constantly learning. We will talk about how neural networks work in one of the upcoming videos. In principle, we understand how a robot produces a certain result. However, we cannot be sure what that result will be because we don't have insight into the internal settings of the system at that moment. We created not just a complex system, we created the most complex system ever made by us, and complex systems are poorly predictable. An example of a very complex system created by nature is the climate. We know a lot about it too, but most of the time, our weather forecasts are unreliable. This is because too many parameters influence the result, and these parameters are also dynamic, constantly changing. Previously, for predictability, we would break down complex systems into relatively simple ones, but here it won't work. The essence of its operation will be lost with a multitude of dynamic parameters. This is somewhat scary. I agree. So, what can we expect from an intelligent, unpredictable robot? Some of us seriously expect that the most powerful neural networks will gain consciousness, free will, and emotions at any moment. In my view, they rely on articles of those who speculate on the complexities of neural networks. They speculate in their interests because fear of the unknown is an excellent ground for cultivating speculative popularity. But that's strictly my opinion. There is currently no specific answer to the question of whether a neural network, or any other form of artificial intelligence, can become intelligent in the sense we understand human intelligence. Intelligence includes many aspects, including consciousness, emotions, creativity, moral values, intuition, and other complex characteristics. We've taught artificial intelligence everything it knows today. We taught it deliberately. It is logical to assume that we would also have to teach it self-awareness and the like. Today, artificial intelligence is taught to simulate some aspects of intelligence, such as data analysis, pattern recognition, language processing, and even some forms of learning and adaptation. But even the most advanced neural networks today do not possess consciousness, emotions, and self-awareness because no one taught them these key characteristics of intelligence. And, in my understanding, teaching them is impossible. This is a fact, and the aforementioned interview with the neural network does not refute it. Some experts claim that in the future, with the development of artificial intelligence and neuroscience, it is theoretically possible to create a system with broader aspects of intelligence. Others believe that even the most powerful neural networks are incapable of fully recreating human intelligence due to a lack of understanding of the fundamental mechanisms underlying the human brain. In my view, this debate is inconclusive because we ourselves don't know how these aspects of intelligence emerge and how one can learn them. However, someone might argue, perhaps these aspects are a property of a neural network of sufficient complexity, and at such complexity, they arise on their own. In general, the debate is serious, and the question remains open. One thing can be said, there are no intelligent robots yet, and whether they will appear and when is uncertain. And if they do appear, will they be able to take over the Earth? We'll talk about this in one of the upcoming videos.